Angel Reese, like I said, multiple phases. We have the good phase, played a great game. We have the bad phase, got in her coach's face over a...
It all began on a night when the atmosphere inside the arena was crackling with anticipation. A night when every pass, every rebound, and every shout from the sidelines promised a story worth telling. Tonight, our sport pulse was there to capture every moment, and the spotlight shone brightly on Angel Reese, a player whose reputation for theatrics and extraordinary athleticism precedes her. As the game tipped off, there was an air of expectation that something big was about to unfold. From the opening minutes, it was evident that Angel Reese was not content to be just another star on the court. Known for her ability to whisper secrets into the ears of the broadcast mics, she had mastered the art of controlling the narrative.
Laws, and she looked crazy just screaming at Noah Henry, blah, 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 blah.
And I know this is her haters' biggest fear, was looking like one of the best players in the W in the world tonight.
Throughout the first half, while her team battled fiercely against the formidable Nefa Clyer and the undefeated Lunar Owls basketball club, Reese displayed a level of precision and control that belied the swirling controversy that would soon engulf her. At one point during a fast break, as her teammates hustled hard and the crowd roared in encouragement, Reese's movements were both graceful and aggressive. With a crisp 22 points and an astounding 21 rebounds later in the game, it seemed as if her on-court performance was finally letting her skills do the talking. The numbers weren't just impressive, they were a resounding statement that tonight her basketball was as pure as it was effective. For a brief moment, the narrative was simple. Here was a player who, without any extra theatrics, brought home a win with performance that could stand on its own merit. Yet, as the game progressed, it became increasingly clear that Angel Reese was not one to let a victory pass by without adding a personal flourish.
Because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go.
With her team celebrating a well-deserved win, instead of quietly acknowledging her stellar performance, she flipped the script. In one sudden transformation, the player who had just dominated on the court morphed into a provocateur, a WWE-style villain in full swing, taunting the opposing fans as if to declare that the entire city behind them was somehow in her crosshairs. The applause from the arena did little to calm the storm that was brewing, for once again, the narrative began to split into two conflicting versions of the same performance. It is not every day that we witness a player who can seamlessly transition from delivering a flawless performance to launching into an impassioned, almost dramatic monologue. As soon as the final buzzer sounded, Reese grabbed the microphone. In a raw, unfiltered display of emotion, she began to detail the struggles of her life, talking about the hate, the hardships, and how every victory is marred by an incessant barrage of criticism. "It's hard," she said, her voice a mixture of defiance and vulnerability. "I work every day knowing that there are little girls and college athletes who look up to me."
Down the history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this.
I have to push through all this negativity. Even at 22, life is no cakewalk. In that moment, the narrative took on a duality. Was this the fierce competitor who thrived on criticism and trash talk, or the misunderstood underdog who bore the weight of expectations and constant scrutiny? The paradox of Angel Reese's persona became even more evident as one replay after another captured the conflicting messages of the evening. One part of her performance was unbridled competitiveness. She taunted opposing fans, flexed her victory like a champion, and celebrated with an intensity that bordered on the theatrical. The Lunar Owls supporters were left both baffled and amused as she mimicked the antics of a well-known mascot, flapping her arms, hooting as if she had just been inducted into an exclusive club.
I know she can't. I got you. Yeah.
Credit to Angel Reese, who has mastered the whisper game.
She knows where the mics are at. She knows how to...
It was a display that demanded attention and, for many, was exactly what made watching her play so electrifying. However, that celebration quickly took on a different hue when she returned to the microphone. No longer was she the unabashed trash talker reveling in victory. Now, she assumed the role of a wounded hero, claiming that the media and critics had it out for her. "The world is against me," she lamented. "They don't appreciate the blood, sweat, and tears that I pour into every game." It was as if two entirely separate personas were sharing the same body, a duality that left both fans and critics scrambling to understand which version of Angel Reese was real. Was she the fearless bad guy who thrived on delivering hard-hitting challenges, or was she a fragile soul overwhelmed by the pressures of constant criticism? For those of us following every moment on our sport pulse, the contradiction was glaring. Throughout the game, Reese had showcased an intensity that could have easily carried her team to new heights. Her performance was marked by an unyielding determination that brought forth not just numbers on the scoreboard, but an undeniable presence on the court.
She's had a couple of big back-to-back games. I think this is her best professional game. And I came on here getting ready to prepare for this video.
The answer, as it often is not a simple one. It lies in the very nature of celebrity in modern sports, a realm where the boundaries between heroism and villainy are perpetually blurred. Reese has built her brand on the idea that controversy and performance go hand in hand. She has embraced the role of the bad guy with a gusto that leaves little room for ambiguity. And yet, when the moment calls for introspection and gratitude, she appears to be caught off guard, almost as if she is living two separate lives simultaneously. This contradiction is not lost on the fans or the critics. Many have pointed out that if Reese truly wanted to shut down the doubters, she could simply let her on-court performance speak for itself. Win the game, dominate the stats, and then move on without the need for an emotional narrative.
Getting ready to praise her for all of that, and then I got to looking at the aftermath of the game, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
After all, the beauty of sports is in its simplicity. The ball is thrown, the basket is made, and victory is earned on the hardwood. But in a world where every action is amplified by social media and every word is scrutinized, such a straightforward approach is rarely enough to capture the imagination of the public. Consider the implications of her actions in the broader context of women's basketball. For far too long, the conversation has often been reduced to surface-level analysis, great plays, missed shots, and the occasional trash talk. Yet, with Angel Reese, every moment becomes a talking point. Whether it's the way she taunts opposing fans with a flair reminiscent of a professional showman, or the way she immediately shifts into a narrative of personal struggle, she forces us to acknowledge that modern sports are as much about storytelling as they are about athleticism. And in that sense, her performance, both on and off the court, has redefined the very way we discuss the game. In the midst of the chaos and spectacle, one must ask, what does this duality mean for the future of the sport? If players feel compelled to perform not just as athletes but as entertainers and storytellers, will the purity of the game ever be fully appreciated? Or is this the inevitable evolution of sports in an era where every moment is designed to capture the attention of a global audience? For Angel Reese, the answer seems to be that the drama is as integral to her identity as her ability to score, rebound, and dominate in every facet of the game. There is also a financial irony that cannot be overlooked. In a post-game rant that has now become part of her narrative, Reese lamented about not earning enough to cover basic expenses, even as she flaunted a lifestyle that seemed to defy the very struggles she described. This contradiction only deepens the mystery of her public persona. Here is a player who, on one hand, parades the trappings of success with designer outfits, luxury vacations, and lucrative endorsement deals, and on the other, paints a picture of financial struggle and relentless hardship. It raises the question, is this a calculated move to maintain control over the narrative, or is it a genuine reflection of the challenges she faces in a competitive and unforgiving industry?
Keep going. It's hard. It is hard. To live my life isn't easy. And I don't want to get emotional, but that's why I put the work in every day, because there are little girls that look up to me.
For many critics, this is where the line is drawn. They argue that if Reese truly wants to be seen as a formidable force, a player who reshapes the conversation around women's basketball, she must decide whether to embrace the villain role fully or to step away from the theatrics and let her achievements shine unencumbered by controversy. It is a classic dilemma in the realm of sports personalities. Can one be both the charismatic provocateur and the humble champion at the same time? In Reese's case, the mixed messages leave fans questioning not only her intentions, but also the integrity of the narrative she is trying to craft. Yet there is something undeniably magnetic about her ability to generate discussion. Every time she steps onto the court, every gesture, every taunt, every word she utters sets off a chain reaction of commentary and debate. On one hand, it is this very intensity that has revitalized interest in women's basketball.
Through all the negativity, at 22 it's hard living this life, but I'm grateful, I'm blessed, and I'm lucky to be around this group, and being here in Unrivaled has just been the best thing for me.
A sport that has long suffered from underrepresentation and mischaracterization. On the other hand, it risks reducing her legacy to a series of sound bites and viral moments, rather than the measured, consistent excellence that defines true greatness. Looking ahead, the implications for future matchups are already becoming a talking point. With the first highly anticipated clash between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky on the horizon, pundits and fans alike are bracing for what is expected to be an absolute circus of emotions, trash talk, and on-court brilliance. The tension is palpable, and if the past is any indication, every move by Angel Reese will be scrutinized, celebrated, and dissected in minute detail by our Sport Pulse and the wider basketball community.